my loves. How are you? Marhaba, and welcome to my channel. This is See Like Sheba, and I, of course, am your host, Sheba. Hope you're having an excellent Wednesday. I, of course, am. It's been so great. Okay, use your imagination. Don't just use your imagination. Use your imagination for good. Use your imagination for how good it can get. I think a lot of times we're taught to use our imagination to imagine the worst case scenario. And maybe a lot of us have anxiety or spend our time in this state of anxiety, imagining the scariest thing possible. One of the things I did to lessen my anxiety, one was stop drinking. But another was to understand that, like, I'm a very creative person. You know, I'm a writer, storyteller. And that, like, when I don't express my creativity, it turns inward. It turns back towards me. So rather than writing and sharing this really interesting, compelling, exciting, Oscar-worthy drama and horror movie, I'm turning it back on myself. And I'm imagining this like scary like story with all the jump scares and all the twists that could happen. And like, why am I doing that? I'm literally just telling myself a story. And so it helps when I'm like, when I think about the most relaxed, the most calm that I've ever felt, the safest that I've ever felt. I think about that, and then I think about the time I was most afraid and most terrified. And then I remember that in both of those occasions, my brain never left where it was. I was always safe. And it was just a matter of the story I told myself. Okay? That's so brilliant, Sheba. Okay, so I thought about this because, I'm like not dealing with my family right now. I've untethered myself and detached from them and kind of cut them off. I don't like their vibes. They haven't done the work yet. They're too happy to normalize and go along as if everything's fine during these times of genocide. And so, yeah, I'm like, nope, not going to do it. They also started to kind of use my nieces as a way to induce me to spend time with the family. And so recently, my sister told Billy that, the girls will ask, like, where's Auntie Sheba? And, of course, they've been doing that because I'm so great and they love their auntie. And, when they play pretend, they do I'm like their imaginary friend who's like helping them, along their journeys and their travels and stuff. And I like love to think of myself like that. But the girls are still asking, about where I am because I don't, go over, and I don't call because I don't want to speak to my sister or mom. And so, they're like, where's Auntie Sheba? And to that, I'm like, my family, my sister, their parents should be making something up. Use their imagination. Make it up. Invent it. Say Auntie Sheba is on an adventure. Oh. She's on a secret mission. Oh my goodness. You can do this like, where in the world is Auntie Sheba? It's giving Carmen Sandiego. We like never know. Yeah, they could just like make me a living legend. Make me like the mythical Auntie Sheba. Have fun with it. I don't care. But make it up. I think sometimes adults, parents especially, they do this thing like, I think Snoop Dogg recently saw a movie in which there were two women parents, a lesbian couple who had a baby. And he was like, how am I supposed to explain that to my children? Make it up. I think the movie they were watching was Toy Story. So, like, if the child can understand that, like, hey, in some realities, toys are alive and they go to space and in lots of realities, two women can have a baby. It's like, he could have just said the truth. The truth was easy enough, but like, make something up. Have fun with it. So yeah, with my family, I'm like, yeah, make something up. Where's Auntie Sheba? She's on an adventure. She's exploring. I don't know. I heard she was on the moon. Ooh, where do you think she is? Maybe she's in ancient Egypt. Oh, maybe she's on this adventure. Y'all could have so much fun. They could have so much fun with this. But I think parents are, adults, we're taught to just be so like serious in all the wrong ways, and like so absurd and silly in all the wrong ways. Crazy. Yeah. So I don't want, them to act like, they've been left with this like arduous task and this unanswerable question about like, where is Aunt Sheba? Just like, make it up. She's on an adventure. She's, traveling the world, which is true. I am on this like secret mission from the divine. Not so secret because I'm talking about it constantly online, but the details of it to the uninitiated observer are quite secret. Hi, hello in the chat. How are you doing? ¿Cómo estás? Ça va? Kifak? Look at me. 4 languages. Oh my God. Yeah. But that is what a powerful enigma, does. And so, yeah, like, I think that's another thing too. We have this fear that we will be misunderstood. And so we have this desire to be understandable, to be comprehensible. And we're afraid like, oh, did that make sense? Embrace being an enigma. Allow yourself the freedom to be incomprehensible. This is all made up, as I say, at every, thing. So, like, it's okay. I hear a thing of, like, everyone who, like, meets you or encounters you or hears about you has their own version of who you are in their head that's influenced by their lens, their, limited understanding, their world influences who they think you are. And so, like, that's what helps me have a high self-concept is I'm like, there are so many thousands of millions of perceptions of me, identities of me that exist. So, like, let me just choose one that's very favorable. I know at least some of them out there see me as this, like, powerful, mystical, magical queen who, like, has this connection with the divine that, like, the average human doesn't understand. And like the average human accepts it and it's just like, wow, okay, tell me what the divine had to say. And yeah, you're safe to be misunderstood. You're safe to make it up, to use your imagination. That's what a lot of this is. Donald Trump, you might have heard of him. He, when he was getting started, he was already the son of like a rich guy. He started like, he would have his assistant, John Barron, give these interviews. And the people who he was giving these interviews to were like, we couldn't find any evidence of a John Barron, but it sounded like Donald Trump. So like, he was literally just like inventing an assistant to talk well about himself in order to make it seem as if he was, more wealthy and influential and powerful and legit than he actually was. So why can't you do that for yourself? We are not like trapped by the limits of other people's imagination for us. We can just make it up. We can make these things up however we want. And particularly when it comes, to children. I would love my family to be honest with, themselves and, the children in our family that like, there are really bad things occurring and the adults are just letting it happen. And as long as they continue to do that, I'm not going to give my time to the adults. They could absolutely say that to the kids. But if they don't want to, that's not age appropriate or whatever, make it up. Sheba is on an adventure. She's Carmen Sandiego. Oh, you don't know about Carmen Sandiego because you're 3-year-olds? Well, she's pretty cool. She's like an international art thief. But like not just regular art. She steals like the Eiffel Tower and stuff. Carmen Sandiego was so cool. I love the name Carmen too. Anyway, yeah, make it up, babes. This is all made up. You like, presumably they still believe in like Santa Claus, another person who was made up. No harm, no foul. And like keeps the children entertained. So like, I hope they, you know, start having some fun with this family riff that we're in, with this like upheaval and evolution and transformation and transition period in our family's relationships. Have some fun, you know? Be like, yeah, Auntie Sheba's a spy, actually. We've already said too much. That would be fun. She's a superhero. And, you know, she can't let her identity be known just yet. They would love that. And it's pretty close to the truth. So, yeah. So anyway, use your imagination for how good it gets to be. I say this all the time, but I'm definitely someone who, you know, always anticipates that in the future, the unknown, it's going to turn out better than I expected for me. It's always going to be, everything is always for my benefit. So, of course, the future is going to be for my benefit. Whatever happens in the future is to help me. And so, yeah, don't waste your imagination imagining the worst case scenarios. Use your imagination wisely. Imagine the best case scenarios, the most fun, expansive scenarios. Because when you do that consistently, you know, if you're like me, when I get into like a daydream, I'm talking to myself, I'm moving around. Sometimes I'll like, you know, hit something by accident. I'm like, oh my God, hold on. Let me center, right? I'm not actually in the scenario I'm playing out in my head. But yeah, do that. And like the universe, the 3D, what we can see in front of us and touch has no choice but to catch up. What we're seeing right now is just it's a lag. It's a delay, a copy of our old manifestations, of our old assumptions of what was going on. And so, yeah, that's what this is. And so use your imagination to imagine the future that you do want rather than the one you don't. I think with the election this year, a lot of people got into the habit of imagining this terrifying future of 2025 and how bad it was going to be. And yeah, I mean, now that has come to reality. The 3D has caught up with all of those collective manifestations we did. And we're living in this like, you know, previously like, oh gosh, we're going to live in this scary 2025 world. And now we live in it. And like, rather than seeing that as a bad thing, see that as evidence of our power. It doesn't even matter what we want. What we focus on is what is. What we imagine, what we choose to use our imaginative power on is what is created. So, create it differently. Use your imagination for how good it gets to be. Use your imagination for how good it gets to be. 14:14 on my timer. I don't know what that means, but. Yeah. Well, that's all I got. I'm going to get high. Then me and Billy are going to go to the store to buy him some gauges for his ears, for his earlobes. And then we're going to get some food. Yeah. Thanks you guys for tuning in. And thank you so much. I got another subscriber. We are at 115. Oh my God. I remember just a short time ago, we were at only 77. And if this resonated with you, give me that like thought bubble emoji, first of all, if you made it to the end. But yeah, if this resonated with you, please subscribe. Please give it a like, a comment, share it with your friends or someone else you think would resonate with this. And yeah, definitely subscribe because I'm trying to get to 1,111 subscribers by the end of 2025. And, you know, my path is expedited. Things come easily for me. So I know the subscribers are going to start pouring in. But yeah, also we are like a very elite quality over quantity kind of group. So if this feels like, you know, resonant with you, if you want to, yeah, keep understanding how we can co-create this reality, 15:55 on my timer, and how we can like really create the utopia that we all dream of, but for some reason tell ourselves can't exist. Yes, it can, babe. Everything can, if we want it to. All right. Bring your forehead up against the screen. Bring your forehead up against the screen. That's it. I love you. And this is all made up, okay? So make it up in a optimistic, positive way. Make it up in a way that like you win in the end. Not just in the end, every step of the way. Even when it appears that something went wrong, it actually went right in disguise. Yeah. All right. Hi, Alexandra Santina. All right. Give me a subscribe. Little thought bubble emoji if you made it to the end. And I think that's it. That's all I got, my loves. Salam. And yalla bye.